Watching a massive group of migrants breaching the country this weekend was incredible. Take a look. More than 1,000 migrants from Venezuela rushing to the United States port of entry in El Paso, Texas yesterday. These migrants, as I mentioned, mostly from Venezuela, were seen pushing against the fenced borders, pushing into America. Both U.S. Border Protection and the Mexican military worked to contain the situation on both sides of the border yesterday. Joining me right now is former acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He is the Heritage Foundation visiting fellow and Fox News contributor, Tom Homan. Tom, thanks very much for being here. Incredible picture. Shows you this is not slowing down at all. How do you read this Venezuelan movement here into America?
Well, we got to remember the Venezuelans, they're part of that four-country agreement. They're going to bring 30,000 a month in through parole. But look, these people are going to wait in line. The administration's actions speak louder than their words. Since Joe Biden's been in office, there's been over 6 million encounters on the border, and the vast majority of them have been released. So they're going to push to enter the country legally. They don't need parole because the end game is the same. With all these people coming in parole, the immigration court data is clear that 9 out of 10 will lose their case in court if they show up and be ordered removed. If you enter illegally and you get arrested, you're not going to be removed either because the Secretary of Homeland Security is on record. Being in the country illegally on its own is not enough for ICE to seek and arrest you. So they're not going to wait in line. They're going to keep coming. This is not going to slow down.
Yeah. It's pretty incredible when you look at what Eric Adams is doing. He's actually floating a plan, the mayor of New York, to send migrants to college for free, courtesy of taxpayers. So, I mean, sometimes you read these headlines, it's like, is this real? Yeah, it's real.
Look, it's another magnet, it's another enticement for people to go to New York. Look, he's a sanctuary city. New York's a sanctuary state. So despite what Governor Abbott and others have done, busing some migrants in New York, they're going there anyways. Because New York is ranks number 3 in illegal alien population. Because why? They can get a driver's license there. They can get a job there. In New York City, they even provide money for illegal aliens to fight his immigration case. So this is just one more reason why people will flood to New York. So, and it's going to hurt the New York state taxpayers, paying for college, paying for social services, paying for their legal representation. I mean, yeah. If I'm a taxpayer in New York, I'm going to be upset.
The U.S. Coast Guard is suspending its search efforts for the missing migrants after 2 smuggling boats capsized off the coast of San Diego over the weekend. 8 bodies were pulled out of the water, 15 people still missing, Tom. So you're actually seeing this trek toward America, a quite dangerous one. More migrants perceived dead.
Look, I've said this from day one. This administration says your policies are more humane than the Trump policies. No, they're not. Because when you make those types of promises, you can enter illegally, you won't be detained, we'll fly you to the city of your choice at our cost, you'll get the work authorization, and even if you get order removed, like I just said, no one's looking to remove you. When you make them, on top of all that, they're talking about amnesty. So with all those promises, the most vulnerable people in the world are going to put themselves in the hands of criminal cartels to come to this country. Since Joe Biden became president, we got over 1,700 migrants have died on U.S. soil. And that's the ones we found. Some of the people that drowned in the ocean we'll never find. Some people that drowned in the Rio Grande River we'll never find. Some of the people got lost in the desert in the thousands of acres in Texas farmland we'll never find. So these policies are not humane. They're killing over 1,700 migrants, which is a record by far. Nothing even compares to it. Plus, you got over 106,000 Americans dying from fentanyl overdoses that come across the border. These policies are not humane. They're killing people.
Well, the Republicans have tried to put a spotlight on it by doing, hearings at the border. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz is set to testify at the House Homeland Security Committee field hearing. It's happening in McAllen, Texas, this Wednesday, Tom. What do you make of these hearings at the border, and what are you expecting at this Wednesday hearing?
It's going to be tough questioning, and I know because I helped write the questions. for some of the GOP on this committee. So look, they're going to ask some straightforward questions about how this administration's direction toward him and how he implemented those directions. I think it's going to clearly show that this administration came in and unsecured the most secure border we ever had on purpose, and it's resulted in a record number of people coming across the border illegally, and at the same time a record low of those being those being removed. Even though, like I said, 90% lose their case, so we have a couple million people with final orders removal, and it's going to show that ICE has the lowest number of removals in the history of the agency. So I think this hearing is going to show what this administration done on purpose to unsecure the border and stop interior enforcement of any kind.
All right, Tom, we'll be watching that. We so appreciate your insight on all of this. Thank you, sir.
And it's crazy. They just keep letting them flood in. And there's also like 5 different states and all that are allowing illegals to vote in local elections now. And they're trying to push it for more elections, stating that they're here, they're paying taxes, they deserve a say-so in what America does with our laws. Well, no, they don't, because they're here illegally and all that. They have no rights. And the law states to deport them, but they want to avoid those laws. But, nobody's above the law, right?